Hi, so I'm going to show you how to start a basket. Some of you expressed an interest in making another one or in making a lid. And so there are a few things that you need. You're going to need a little bit of raffia, and you're also going to need some scissors. You're going to need 2 arms lengths of cotton string, and you're also going to need your needle. So I'm going to go ahead and screen share so that you guys can see what I'm working on, and I'm going to turn my camera and enlarge it a little bit so you can see. So what I do first is I try to have my raffia as even as I can get it. So I'm just pulling some of these up a little bit so that they are as even as they can possibly be. And they're not perfectly even, but they kind of need to be perfectly even. So I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to trim at the end. And that's going to make a big mess on my desk. Oopsies. I will kind of get them all together and then throw them away later so they don't end up on the floor. So now you can see that I have a nice even end right here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take my string, and you have to be kind of ambidextrous with this. It's kind of tricky to do. So, and also this is not there are other ways to start a basket. This is just my way of starting it. So if you find another way to start it that's easier for you, feel free to do that. Okay. This is just one way, and it's the way that I start. So I set my string down like this, and with it going off to the right. And I want to start it about 1.5 inches, 2 inches from the end. And I'm holding it down here with my thumb. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a coil, and I'm pulling tight, and I'm going to coil towards the right, and I'm coiling, 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 coiling until I get to the end. And when I get to the end, I'm going to turn back and I'm going to coil more loosely. So like, see how I'm leaving a little bit of a gap between, and then I get back here to where I started. So I've kind of gone this direction, and then as soon as I've gotten to the end, I don't want it to slip off, right? And that's what wants to happen. It wants to slip off. So I'm going to be really careful that it doesn't slide off. I've left like a little bit of raffia sticking out. And then I've just gone back and I've left about a 1/2 inch gap because you don't want it to be too thick. You don't want to do it tightly, loop it tightly backwards. Then what I'm going to do is slowly curl the snail shape, and I'm going to keep curling it until I get to here, and then I'm going to go through the center. And I'm holding it, it's really hard to hold, so I'm holding it as tight as I can. And I'm pulling it through the center. And then I'm going to go ahead. Oops, there we go. Now I'm pulling it through the center. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go through the center again. And I'm going to go through the center again. I like to anchor it. I go through like about 3 times. And I also want to cover any raffia spots that can be seen. So I'm going to cover the end. And this is my 4th time through. And now I'm going to go around. It's a little bit hard to do. I'm going to go through around once. Over here, 1. 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm gonna now go through the center. And then I'm gonna go around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm gonna go through the center. So you're basically going through the center and you're just strengthening the center part. I just counted 5 and I'm going through the center. Now I'm counting 5 again. And I'm going through the center. And I'm counting 5 again. So you're going to want to go all the way through the center each time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm going to go through the center. And then I keep going into the center until I get to the point where it starts. Like right here when I get past this point where I've reinforced it. I'm going to keep stitching through the center. And I use 2 arm's lengths because I don't want to have to start another color. I want to have enough that I can keep working, enough of the green string that I can keep working. Now I'm getting close to the point where I reinforced it. See how it's kind of got a big bump through there. So as soon as I get past that reinforcement, instead of going into the center, I'm going to go into the next coil. So I'm still going through the center. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Still going into the center. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now I'm going into, I think I'm going to go into the next coil. 1, 2, 3, 4, whoops, 3, 4, 5. And I'm going into the next coil or securing the next coil. So now I'm no longer going to the center. I'm going into the next coil. And I'm also running a little bit low on string, so I might need to add some more in a minute. So now I've gone to the next coil. So you can see that I'm no longer going into the center. I'm now securing coil to coil, right? And so the center is now off limits. If you push really tight, you have less of a hole. This, I left a little bit of a hole in the middle of mine. And so I'm going to get a little bit more string. And I'm going to go ahead and add more. So I remember I lay the string right down next to the raffia, and then I just cover it with the existing string as I'm covering the coil. And then I hold it down with my finger and punch through. Okay. So I'm going to go, I'm counting 5 each time, and then I'm going to go ahead and punch through. And this is how you start, or this is how I start a basket. You can figure out, if you figure out another way that works better for you, you can do that. So now I'm no longer going through the center. I'm just continuing to secure the coils. And I do have like a little bit of a mess right here that I can see. So when I go, I might want to kind of clean that up a little bit and try to cover it. There we go. That's better. So I don't have a knot at the bottom to get in the way. So I just have a nice clean start. And it looks a little bit like a snail, right? The shape is a coil, so it's a little bit like a like a snail. Once I have the new string, then I can cover the old string with, I just lay the old string, I go over once, and then I pull the old string off to the side near the raffia, and then I can go ahead and count, do my 5 count again, and the old string gets covered by the new string, which is the new strings covering the coil. All right, so I hope that this helped you to figure out how to start a basket. And have a nice, good start. Now I'm going to have to make another basket because I have this lovely start. My basket that I made is a little bit too, oops, that's not looking so good. I'm going to put it in the next spoke. My basket can't really, it's more like an open flat dish shape, so I can't really make a lid for it. Go around one more time, and then I'm going to go through here, I think. Okay. So this is how I start a basket. And it's kind of fun when you first start a basket, it grows really fast. And you guys probably know this. Then when it starts getting big, it takes longer to go around, doesn't it? So it starts to, your work kind of slows down and it feels like you're not making as much progress. So this is how I start a basket. And again, I stick my needle in so that I don't lose it. And I usually wrap it around so that it doesn't get tangled because it's kind of small. When it's kind of small, it's easy for it to get tangled. All right, I hope that this helped you understand how to start a basket without having a knot in it. And hopefully this will be the beginning of many baskets to come. You'll end up making a lot of different baskets once you know how to start them, and lots of different sizes and shapes. All right, thanks for joining me.